There's the clap. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday evening to you all. I am Henry John. Along with me for the ride is Zach McAdoo. This is Burnt Rubber Racing. We're recording the latest and greatest. It's going to be the greatest, Zach. You already know it. Episode of the Burnt Rubber Racing podcast. Whew, boy, do we have some more drama to get to after this Roval race. I don't know. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick getting into it again. The Bristol feud continues at the Roval this past weekend. So as we get set to recap the NASCAR Cup Series action, that is definitely going to be a talking point for sure. Of course, Kyle Larson getting his 7th win of the year. We'll have to discuss that. And the Roval was a cutoff race for both the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. So we'll update the standings, tell you who moved on and who didn't, and get set for the round of 8 to kick off at Texas this weekend. Zach, how are you doing tonight? Are you calmed down, simmered down a little bit from what was a tense Sunday for you? I'm sure.
No, I'm ready to. We're ready to vent. This is what this is. We're here for. I mean, we talked a little bit during the week, but you had that's just half the stuff I have bottled up there, buddy.
Oh, all right. So this show's bringing it all back up to the surface. Sorry, I'm here for it. I will be your shoulder to cry on, Zach. I'm always here for you. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the Bank of America Roval 400. I already said Kyle Larson got the win. Zach, I think where I want to start with this breakdown, though, or just looking back at this race, is talking about what Kyle Larson had to go through to get to that win. He was on pit road, and the pit crew had to replace an alternator in the car. He was not the only Hendrick Motorsports driver with battery and alternator issues on Sunday, as Alex Bowman had the same thing where they had to swap the battery out multiple times and weren't even sure if they would be able to make it to the end of the race. Now, that seemed to resolve itself for the 48 and obviously did for the 5, but what a job by the pit crew and what a job by Kyle Larson. I just want to throw this out there. He won more road courses than any other driver this year. 3. Chase Elliott only won 2, and you had one winner apiece with the other 2 there, and Dinger and Christopher Bell. So big Kyle Larson guy here. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, he gets the win, takes care of business. But to go from being below the playoff cut line at one point when he was having those issues, and this is Kyle Larson. This is a guy who won 6 races before the Roval, to winning the race. I mean, what a turn of events. What a job by the 5 team.
I mean, yeah, seeing him minus, I think it was like -6 or -9, one of the two, in the middle of the race, it's like, what? This guy who dominated the whole year was +60 coming into the round, and he's below the cut line in the round of 12. That something doesn't seem right there. But they turned it around. They fixed their alternator problem, which, if it wasn't a road course, I feel like they would have been down a lap. But the fact that they changed the belt under caution, they had that more time to make sure everything was right, it helped. They were able to stay the lead lap, and Larson still came to the field.
He sure did, and we've seen him do that on more than one occasion this year. Amazing run for the 5 team for sure. Zach, I want to ask you, I think Larson is a little bit of a bias that stood out to me. You can't say the feud. That's off limits for now. What stood out to you specifically from this race? A couple highlights, whether it's a driver, a moment, anything from the Roval. I mean, this race was action-packed. We had a little bit of everything. Every stage had a fair share of excitement.
So how about the other feud that we have neglected to talk about yet? How about Byron and Reddick? I mean, I understand that Byron's a little ticked off that he got pushed in through the chicane there on the backstretch. But the fact of the matter is, you're getting raced by everyone. No one's going to lay down. Reddick's still looking for his first win. He was right there. Why should Reddick have to let off and let all these guys go by for him when he's fine? Like, he's still fighting for his playoff. Well, I shouldn't say playoff. He's still fighting for his first win. He's still on the lead lap. Like, I understand you're mad, but don't. I didn't think it was anything there for him to really get pissed off about.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, William Byron, must-win situation for him, right? Just given where he was in the cut line, trying to keep his championship hopes alive and advance. And not really known for being a road course racer. He's had his fair share of run-ins on road courses already this year. The one that stands out to me was in line for a solid run at Sonoma and then got caught up in a wreck and finished well back in the field by the end of the day there. Byron was putting down some laps here, leading the majority of that green flag run in the final stage. And had the field not gotten bunched back up, this was his race to lose. I know you can say Reddick was running him down, but impressive effort, I think. You have to applaud the 24 team for putting it all out there in a race they had to win. Of the guys who needed to win this race to advance, they were the team that really, I thought, stepped up. To your point on Reddick, though, what a run for him as he finishes second. He was the only driver even within shouting distance of Larson. And this is a guy who, coming into the year, we hadn't really seen a whole lot from him on road courses. He's put together a number of solid road course finishes this year. And I mean, as a fan for you, absolutely. But just for me, looking at it from a more neutral perspective, shall we say, I'm excited to see what he can do on the roads going forward as soon as next year.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of a hope for Reddick when he started catching Byron. And then the dreaded caution that we're both going to talk about here in a little bit. I think it cost him a little bit. Although I think Reddick was also kind of falling back after the pit stops there. He may have run it out, but I would have loved to see it go green and see if he can catch him.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. I thought it was an exciting race before that caution, the late one, bunched the field back up. And rounding out the top three, I know he was a little ways back, but Chris Buescher. What a day for the 17 team. They fell off a cliff in the second half of the season, but since the start of the playoffs, Buescher has very quietly he's put together some solid runs. Shout out to anyone who read the betting column last week over on flurrysports.org. Chris Buescher to win his group. He was in there. So I was excited to see it out of the 17. You think this is a good sign for them going forward? Obviously, inked that new deal with Roush Fenway. You got Brad Kay joining the band there next year. And I mentioned Bowman, by the way. I'll just shoot him in here too real quick. He had all those battery issues and still managed to finish 10th. So pulling a top 10 day out of nothing.
All right, can we just move on here? We know why the people are here. Let's just.
You can't keep it in anymore, can you?
No,
I'm trying to show Chris Buescher some love here. Matty D got another top 10, but all right.
All right, no, okay, we'll talk about Chris Buescher. Yeah, I mean, as a guy who has selected Chris Buescher in a family pool pretty much every week for the past 3 or 4 seasons, yeah, I'm a fan of this guy, so I want to see him do well, and this is the first time that he's really had anything happen since Miami when he won the stage. Roush Fenway, like you said, fell off a cliff, which hopefully next year with Brad Keselowski coming along, he can tell the guys in the garage, hey, do this, don't do that, fix it, like tell him what to do, because he's got the experience at Penske. I feel like Keselowski can really turn that team around.
Do this, don't do that. Yeah, I like it. All right. I'm not going to make you wait any longer, Zach. Where do you want to start with this mess? Do you want to start with the retaliation? Should I lay out a general description and let you go nuts, or is this your deal and I'm just going to chime in because I'm happy to sit back?
Let me say, like, start this off, and you tell me if I'm wrong on any of this.
All right.
Final stage. These two are battling out for position. Harvick moves
Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick, by the way, in case you somehow didn't know who we're talking about here.
You live under a rock if you don't know who we're talking about. Let's just get that out in the open at this point.
Patrick Starr.
Who are you people? Anyways, we're children at heart. The 8 is more than just the logo for my favorite driver. It's our age. They're battling. Chase Elliott, Kevin Harvick battling for position. It's like lap 65. There's like 50 laps to go in the race, I want to say. So it was quite a bit still, especially for the Roval. Elliott gets pushed into the wall by Harvick. Elliott then, takes damage on the back end of the car, but if you don't notice, Elliott swerves down to try to hit Harvick, but misses. End up hitting Cole Custer, causing a caution. Now, let's start the first part of that. If you are a Dale Earnhardt Sr. fan, and is now a Chase Elliott fan, you lose that right to complain about that move. Bar none. Because Dale Earnhardt has done more crap to any other driver than Harvick, and this is the first time I've ever seen Harvick move someone in retaliation for something happened to him. I could be wrong, but it's the first time, legitimately, something like that. You can say Joey Logano, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, they ain't calling the Intimidator for nothing.
Yeah,
where did bad dude.
Where did Harvick learn his? Where did Harvick? Who is Harvick supposed to take over for? Dale Sr. He was supposed to take over the 3-car. But so that's the first part of it. Then you have Chase Elliott coming down to try to hit him back. What a fail! You gotta admit, Chase. What was that, buddy? You try to hit Harvick because you're mad that he retaliated, and then you cause your own caution to keep you in the race. Yeah, what a jerk move that was. And then on the radio, you have Chase Elliott get told, "Hey, if we wreck him, we're in. Don't worry about it." Chase Elliott fans, I don't want to hear a word about anything from this feud because Chase Elliott was really going to hit Harvick back again to one up, and wreck him for the second time when Harvick had only done it once. Because, like we said, that first one was a racing ordeal that Chase Elliott got pissed off about, that whole thing. Yeah. Chase was going to hit him again, wreck him. That's why Harvick ended up putting it in the wall, and I will admit that was not the finest moment for the Harvick fans, seeing him just plastered into the wall sign. That hurt. Yeah. But there's one point I forgot. How could I forget about this? Chase is only up there because of the caution he caused with his bumper falling off. Now, he should have been black flagged. And for those of you saying, "Oh, they don't do it on when it's not required," might I take you back? I think it was 2013, Martinsville. Greg Biffle has damage on the back end, but guess what? It's not even close to falling off. But NASCAR still black flags him. Pull it in. We don't want a caution here. So, why wasn't Chase black flagged here? He's causing a caution. He's doing everything he can in his power to cause a caution because he knows if he gets it, he gets back up there.
I said this to you when we were talking before hitting record here tonight. When Elliott pitted under green, when pit stops were cycling through under green, his back bumper is on the car by a piece of duct tape or whatever that was. It's not intact with the car. They just put it back on. They didn't do anything to adjust the bumper, the rear of the car, nothing when they were in on the pit stop. And to your point, which you were saying, they're worried about making time. They did fall a lap down. Elliott quickly got that lap back, came out right behind William Byron and was able to get by him and get back on the lead lap. But no adjustments were made. And when you're sitting in that position, you kind of got to make some adjustments or you're going to probably drop some debris on the track because the repairs you made to get back out there, they just aren't going to hold up. So, okay, that's fine. You don't make adjustments. I'm not going to necessarily sit here and blame the 9 team in that moment when they know they have to get him back out on the track. Who I really have a tough time with here is NASCAR for not throwing the black flag when the repairs there on the back bumper started to fail and Elliott dragged it around for at least 2 whole laps. Am I correct? And at a road course,
it was longer
5
than
miles.
that.
Yeah,
but sure. If you give me a second here, we'll go.
I'm pretty sure it went through a commercial break actually.
So
where he was driving around with it.
Is my screen being Jared? Yeah, let's go here. Let's look at the August 2020. They have a rear bumper. That one is I think that one was from. That was Daytona, so they do the rear bumper. But Byron, his rear bumper coming off. He gets black flag. SCP 500. They don't need that. That was Martinsville. Jones, his bumper cover is failing. He got shown the black flag. So, again, this is absentee NASCAR. They're NASCAR inconsistencies that everyone's complaining about. It's going to push all the fans away.
Yeah. And to clarify that for those who aren't necessarily aware of the specific rules with the bumper, at a track like Daytona, Talladega, where drafting is happening, really any of the intermediate tracks, the intermediate ovals, any track with more than a mile length, I feel like, right? The back bumper is an essential part. You can't race without it. So if you lose it, you're done. At a short track, at a road course, it's different. You can drive and race without it because the style of racing is different. But typically, if the bumper's coming off, NASCAR is going to make you go to pit road to take it off, even if you can continue in that race. And they didn't do that here. And that's where I really have a problem with it. Jeff Gluck, who Zach and I both follow, obviously, on Twitter, and I'm sure a lot of you fans do as well, he tweeted it out that it didn't feel right. And I couldn't have agreed with that more in the moment. It didn't feel right to me. I don't know, just watching it as a neutral bystander. I'm not a Harvick fan. I'm not an Elliott fan. I have a hard time saying that Zach's wrong here with the points he's making. So, I mean, it is what it is. It seems like Elliott got a little preferential treatment there. And then, by the way, he gets back into the top 15 and comes up on the back of Harvick. And after threatening to wreck Harvick, Harvick puts it in the wall, locks it up, going into heartburn turn, they call it there at the Roval. So it just kind of sucks.
Yeah, it is what it is. That's your season right there, because you're mirror driving instead of just run your own race. If he hits you, he hits you. That there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
But you have to run your race first, and it is what it is. But we have more of this story that we'll get to later.
Yes.
Right now, we need to get to Xfinity. AJ Allmendinger wins his third straight Roval race in the Xfinity Series. I mean,
are we surprised?
No.
AJ Allmendinger's something else.
He has won the most road courses out of anyone in the Xfinity Series history, and what a guy Colleague has. Like, Dinger, that was the right move bringing on Dinger, because now look at where the team is. That team is built up, and he might be old, but he knows what he's doing.
Well, he's not that old. Like, let's just throw that out there. But the fact that they have a guy like this, and they're starting a full-time Cup team next year, and he's not even the guy who's going to drive full-time at the Cup level. He's staying at the Xfinity Series level. What does that say about Justin Haley, who, for my money, is a great driver as well? Finished fourth on the road course here. Obviously, we know he can get it done in the Cup level on the super speedways. Imagine what he's going to be capable of in some quality equipment up there as well. So Colleague Racing's in a great position. I think that is for sure moving forward at both Xfinity and Cup levels. So obviously Dinger got the win. Austin Cindric, another guy who runs well in these road courses, second. Daniel Hemrick, third. Justin Haley, fourth. Brandon Jones rounds out the top five. We got Noah Gragson, another playoff driver, coming in sixth. Zach, I guess we might as well just do Xfinity Series standings here quick first, since we're wrapping up.
Let's go back.
What's up?
We'll just go over the four drivers that are eliminated from the Cup, because this is what I forgot to do. Bell, Bowman, Byron, Harvick.
Yep, there you go. And Kyle Larson has a 40-something point buffer over the cut line, even though we're in the round of 8. So I feel like we already have one of our championship 4 decided at this point, but you never know, because
you could get 3 winners. Yeah, each clinch their way in, and then whoever's highest on points, and that might not be Harvick, because we saw him down -9. during the Roval.
Sure did. Who would have thought, though? The one other thing that stands out to me from the round of 8 drivers in the Cup, if you would have told me based on the season Ford's had overall, Team Penske had, I mean, all the Team Penske drivers, one win apiece, other than Ryan Blaney's got multiple at this point. They came late in the year. The fact that all 3 Penske Fords managed to get into the round of 8, that's a bit of a surprise to me. Not going to lie.
It just comes down to show the consistency that they've had. I mean, yeah, they're not getting the wins that you expect out of the Penske camp, but I mean, they were up there at Talladega, second and third. They were fighting, well, except for Keselowski, they were up towards the front at the Roval. I mean, it's just survive and advance, and that's exactly what they're doing.
They sure are. It is all Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, and Penske drivers left. You got 3 Penske, 3 JGR, and 2 Hendrick left to battle it out for the championship. Kevin Harvick was the lone ranger, if you will, in the round of 12, and he is now done as well. Xfinity Series, the Roval also a cutoff for them. And moving on to the round of 8 here, the 4 drivers eliminated: Jeb Burton, Myatt Snyder, Jeremy Clements, and Riley Herbst are your 4 going home after the Roval. So, of course, Dinger, Cindric, Allgaier, Gregson, Hemrick, Haley, Harrison Burton, and Brandon Jones making up the round of 8 in the Xfinity Series. And they are in that order on points. Allmendinger, 34-point cushion to the cut line entering the round of 8. And Cindric is only 6 points behind him. So he's staring at a nice 28-point cushion. Based on what we've seen in the Xfinity Series all year, fully expect those 2 to go to Phoenix. Behind them, though, Zach, shaping up for an interesting round here. Allgaier, Gregson, not a lot of breathing room. Hemrick and Haley are both close, and the other 2 even are not far behind. Any bold claims or thoughts on Xfinity standings, quick, before we jump into some news from the week?
I think it's just come to the news. I don't want to say anything that could come back to hurt me, especially after last week.
Gregson going to Phoenix?
Let's see, Texas, Kansas. Not out of the pot. I think he's got a. I think he's got above 50%. Yeah, I think above. We'll put him above 50%.
Perfect. All right. It's not too crazy, but it's good. You're doing a good job of keeping the fire at a simmer. I'll say that. I'm proud of you. What do we got from news this week? Well, maybe I spoke too soon because, of course, the big headline brings us right back to Elliott Harvick Part 2. But there's some other headlines as well. Do you want to start there, or do you want to jump to somewhere else? What do we get?
Okay, we'll do it backwards. I like you thinking. Yeah, we'll end with that because that's the one that's going to take a lot more time.
Build up.
We have a NASCAR Euro Cup team next year, where they're gonna merge with. I couldn't think of the word merge. They're gonna merge with Rium Brothers Racing and create a cup team for next year that will be driven by Jack Villeneuve. I screwed it up. I've heard that name so many times I could never get it right. And Loris Heismans. I mean, it's another cup team. It's great for the sport. It's just we need pronunciation next to these guys' names so that we don't.
I mean, you're looking at me. I'm not going to get them right either. So.
All right, and then
it's all good.
That was announced Saturday. Sunday, it was announced GMS. They're gonna tab Ty Dillon to drive for them in the 94 car next season. I'm excited. I like Ty Dillon. I've been a fan ever since I met him 7 years ago. We'll see how good he does in the 94 next year.
Anything else?
Yeah. The NASCAR
just the one big one, or
no? NASCAR rules package has been announced for next year. Why? It's the same. We're pretty much getting the same thing that we did this year. Why bring a new car in if you're just going to do the same thing? It makes no sense.
Oh, you're kidding. They're not. So we're not changing our drafting or the downforce or. It's all the same across all tracks.
It's pretty much. No, I mean tweaks. Like it's the same that we have this season to next season. Like stall for me so I can go look this up.
Stall for you. I brought one headline to the table, Zach. I mean, it's fringe NASCAR related, but former NASCAR driver Tony Stewart, he is going to be owner of a new 2-car NHRA team. So some hot rod association action with Tony Stewart. That team will be opening up in 2022. Top Fuel and Funny Car dragsters for Matt Hagan, and of course his fiance too, Leah Pruitt. So Tony Stewart's going to be owning an NHRA team in addition to Stuart Haas being involved there, and of course SRX, which we're looking forward to that coming back next year as well. So good to see Tony Stewart expanding his portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks for me because I'm a Harvick fan. It could take some resources away from the 4 team, the 10 team, the 14 team, the 41. But yeah,
I'll have to see.
Okay, I'm still looking for here because I know they announced it, but I don't remember what it was. And I keep scrolling. I know they announced it before.
You're looking for the actual. Oh, I'm sticking with you. Got nowhere to go.
Bob, why do you tweet so much? That would be Bob Pockers. I can't find it, but
Bob does tweet a lot.
Okay, but it was more like It was like 750 package for like a lot of the tracks, 550 to say for the same tracks that it was this year, and then there was a different road course package and a super speedway package. Which, like, why? What's the point in bringing in new cars if you're just going to have the same packages for the new cars that you're going to have?
Maybe because it's just the first year with the next gen cars. I don't know. It's going to be different racing. Did you get a chance to take in any of the testing, the 2-day test down at the Roval earlier this week?
I watched about 20 minutes of it on YouTube, but then on Monday when there was no announcers, it was like, this is stupid. I'm done. Like,
yeah, it's a little bland to watch cars drive around a track, especially when it's not even a competitive race without announcing on TV. That's something else I had to throw out there as we jump into the main headline here. The announcers were siding with Chase Elliott during that race on Sunday, and I wasn't a fan. Not gonna lie, but it is what it is. It seemed like Elliott was ready to let it go after Bristol. Harvick obviously hadn't let it go, and he retaliated. There was no mention of the attempted retaliation right then and there by Elliott that wound up wrecking Cole Custer. No mention of that on the broadcast for those of us who tuned in live after the incident happened, which I didn't get there until the final stage, and it was after the original contact was made. So watching live, that is. So I gotta harp on NBC here a little bit for their coverage of the incident too. But any thoughts on that? And obviously, what transpired here this week following all of the drama at the Roval?
So I was listening to NBC, but I didn't have it high enough because I had on my phone I had Discord on, and so because I could listen to Harvick's radio for everything, and it didn't sound like Harvick stayed quiet on the radio after it happened. So I don't know if it was because he felt guilty or what, but it was mostly Rodney Childers and Tim Fedewa talking. I would have loved to switch over to Chase, but I was too lazy to. Because I was like, let's just stick with Harvick. Forget Chase. He deserved this. Yeah. So that leads us to today. What happened? Well, might not have been today. Might have been yesterday. NASCAR had a 6-person call yesterday with the Harvick camp and the Elliott camp, saying to drop the feud, or else they were gonna there was going to be penalties going forward. So, I don't know about you guys. This seems a lot like they're going to coddle Chase Elliott here and protect the Golden Boy.
Because he's still in the playoffs.
Because he's still in the playoffs and Harvick is out, and only one of them can take any more damage. And we have a comment saying, protecting Mickey Mouse. That's exactly what it is. Thank you very much. Prove me I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't have anything for you. I will say it looked like from the tweet you sent to me and just the reading I did on it, NASCAR did pretty much all of the talking on that call. So not a lot said from either side as far as the Elliott camp or the Harvick camp. But after some tampering, shall we say, at the Roval with no black flag and whatever you want to call it, looks like NASCAR wants things to go on peacefully now. And I don't know. I'm sure you saw that Elliott wished Harvick a merry off season and Christmas too, right?
You know that office meme where he has his that notebook and a pen? That's exactly what I'm doing. I cannot wait for Martinsville, or would Phoenix be okay still if he doesn't win? Because that shit's getting shoved right in his face. I can't wait. Like, whew. Please, God, please.
You're defending NASCAR Cup Series champion, Zach. Just remember that.
I kid you not. I was sitting typing the DFS article that may or may not come out tomorrow. Well, sorry, we just got a good comment. Do you want to read that?
Thank you, Who is the Wolf. Back in my day, NASCAR had balls and boys would have at it. I mean, wasn't that every sport, though? Like the NBA, the Detroit Piston bad boys, Bill Lambier would, not be allowed to play in today's NBA. That's the most NFL. You hit a quarterback on the head and you get flagged for 15 yards. So,
you have to protect them from CTE. We know a lot more stuff.
Linemen smash their heads together every single play. If you're not comfortable getting hit in the head, don't play the game. The targeting penalty is ruining college football. It's a disgrace. This is not a college football podcast. What else? Where are you going with? What were we talking about?
I was sitting in my room typing up the DFS article today, and honest to God, I was sitting there like, what do I want to happen more? Chase Elliott not to win the Cup Series, or the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl? And anyone who knows me, knows how much a fucking Bills Super Bowl would mean to me. That is how much I was thinking about, this thing has really with me.
Yeah, I definitely want Chase Elliott not to win more than I want the Bills to win.
Well, you hate the Bills.
I do hate the Bills.
We've talked about this, how much you hate my teams, you jerk.
Yes.
But I don't
for
hate
some
the Braves.
reason. I love you, Zach, but for some reason you pick pretty darn awful teams that I just can't stand.
I'm a homer.
Bills,
what can
Yankees.
I say?
I don't like the Sabres either.
You don't like hockey?
Huh?
You don't like hockey?
VGK, baby. Let's see here. Do we have any other news and notes?
No, I think that's it.
Headlines?
Other than Chase Elliott fans are still as toxic as ever.
Yeah, I saw a few comments on Twitter this week, and I'll leave it at that. But we do have more racing action to look forward to this weekend, boys and girls. Whether or not NASCAR has balls or not, I don't know. Apparently, they're just having phone calls. But, hey, we are off to Texas Motor Speedway. It is the start of the round of 8. And unlike the Xfinity Series, aside from Kyle Larson, I should say, the point standings on the Cup Series side are nip and tuck. 3 races remain to decide the championship for. It is going to be fun. Zach, this is the first points-paying race run at Texas this year. The only other visit NASCAR made was for the All-Star race back in June. Guess who won that, folks? Kyle Larson. took home the $1 million prize that day. But Texas has, I'd say, provided its fair share of excitement over the years. What more can you tell us about the 1.5 mile oval track down there in Fort Worth?
God, you talk about excitement. You got to go back 7 years ago. I mean, let's talk about this first. Do you want to talk about Brad Keselowski, Jeff Gordon, Kevin Harvick? I mean, we all know what happened there. Which, even looking back on it now, it probably wasn't the best thing for two of them. I mean, both Harvick and Gordon regret their actions that night, and they said it on I think it was Happy Hour when Harvick still had it. Yeah, Texas does suck. No comment. So Texas was built in 1996. They've had a Cup Series track every year since then. It was given a fall race in 2005 and had 2 races every year until this year when they decided that they were going to go to the Circuit of the Americas instead of Texas Motor Speedway, but Texas was still getting the All-Star race because Eddie Gossage wanted a second race, and he was like, give me the All-Star race, and we'll take that instead. We had a weird performance from who did Eddie? Why can't I not think of who did I Can't Drive 55?
Sammy Hagar.
Why is Van Halen coming to my Eddie Van Halen, who I'm pretty sure died last year, was the only person I could think of. Like, that's not right. Why?
It's been a stressful week for you. We'll let it go.
Don't do drugs, kids. You'll end up looking like Sammy Hagar, I guess. Wait a minute, he's like 70, isn't he? That's probably why he looks like that. This is the opener. You're welcome, folks. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's just move on.
All right, so that was your overview of Texas Motor Speedway. The Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. That's the race that we are running this weekend. So a 500-miler around the 1.5 mile oval. Zach, here's a fun fact for you. Were you aware that Texas originally acquired this fall race from Darlington? Do you know the story behind the Furco lawsuit? Are you one of those traditionalist fans? No. Okay, so a little history there between the Southern 500 and Darlington and Texas Motor Speedway. Obviously, Speedway Motorsports owns a bunch of the tracks, and well, they weren't too happy with NASCAR for a couple of reasons. Back in 2005, they won a lawsuit known as the Furco lawsuit, and they took a race from Darlington, and it became this second race at Texas. So now you have 2 races at Texas. Darlington, up until, what was it, last year, I believe, only had the 1 race since that lawsuit. Now they have 2 on the schedule again. And Texas only has 1 actual points-paying race because they gave a race to Coda and got the All-Star race from Charlotte. So should go check out the history. If you're a history buff, if you enjoy racing history. I found it cool to read about, doing some digging on this race itself. When it comes to Texas Motor Speedway.
Side note, because we got a comment saying that Sammy Hagar was part of Van Halen. I just checked. He was, so I kind of was right.
You were kind of right, but
so
you got to know the difference between Van Halen and Sammy Hagar, Zach.
But he's still part of Van Halen. It's the same difference.
I know, but he did I Can't Drive 55. Don't get into it with me on classic rock, man.
I don't care.
That's one avenue. I'm well versed in. Shout out to my dad. When it comes to Texas, when it comes to Texas Motor Speedway, what are 1 or 2 things you're going to be cognizant of from a handicapping standpoint in terms of drivers, track, anything? And I have some average finish stats I can read off to follow you up here in just a second.
So one thing is you have to go over by like the last 6 races because of the reconfiguration.
Yes.
It's either 6 or 7. I don't remember which one it was. But you can't, anything before then you have to throw out because you can't really go by it because it's a different track, it's a different layout. Because Texas decided, oh yeah, we'll just take out some banking and try to make it better, but in actuality, made it worse.
Yeah, so, we can look at those last 6 races dating back to February of 2018 here with these driver stats I got pulled up. Kevin Harvick, your boy, but he's not in the playoffs anymore. He leads all active drivers, an average finish of 5.5, 2 wins, 4 top 5 finishes, 5 out of 6 races, top 10 for Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch, who won this very race last year after he was eliminated from the playoffs, so maybe Harvick can do it this year. I don't know. Average finish is 6.67. He also has a pair of wins there, 3 top 5s and 5 top 10s, matching Harvick. Joey Logano, 7.17, 3 top 5s for him. Kurt Busch, interestingly enough, no top 5s in the last 6 races, Zach, but all of them have been top 10s, average finish of 7.83. Eric Jones, now we've discussed several times this year, the equipment change for him could maybe throw some of these stats into chaos a bit, but an average finish of 8.17, driving JGR equipment, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. I would have to look back and see just how he did in the All-Star. I guess he would have been in the shootout, right? Not the actual race, but I'll have to take a look at that. No, he would have been in the race. I'll have to pull that up. But Tyler Reddick, a couple races last year. He had a top 5 in one of those and a top 10 in the other. Ryan Blaney, average finish of 10.5. And Christopher Bell, average finish of 12th. Austin Dillon, 12.5. Eric Almirola, 13.67. Chase Elliott, 15.67. Any of those names, a couple names you want to comment on? I'm going to try and find what Eric Jones did in the All-Star race because I am actually curious.
No, not really. Just Hamlin's. You said Hamlin was like 20.5, right?
I did not say Denny Hamlin because he wasn't at the top of the list.
Oh, but okay. So he's got a win here, but he's got an average finish of 20.5. I thought I guess since I looked him up earlier, you saw him set him. So I guess my memory's a little bit too weak, strong, whatever.
I no comment on that. Eric Jones, All-Star Open. That's right, he crashed, so he did not finish. I feel like I'm going to take that and throw it out because I know he can run better than that in the 43 equipment, even though it's not JGR. And yeah, to your point about Denny Hamlin, he has a win, but not a good average finish. Only 2 top 10s, including that win in the last 6 races on the new configured Texas Motor Speedway. The other winner, mentioned Harvick and Busch, Kyle Busch, both having 2. Austin Dillon, who won here to get into the playoffs in the first race last year. All right. In terms of average driver rating, just list off the top 5 for you. Kevin Harvick, 116. Kyle Busch, 114.5. Ryan Blaney, 110.6. Joey Logano, 104.8. Kurt Busch, 99.1. So kind of the same names there across the board. Looking at the rest of the playoff drivers, Martin Truex Jr., 3 top 10s here in the past. Chase Elliott only has 1 top 10 in 6 races. Average finish isn't terrible, 15.67, but that's interesting to note. William Byron, 2 top 10s in 6 races. Denny Hamlin, just the 2 like we said. Brad Keselowski, 2 top 10, 6 races. Average finish of 22.5. Kyle Larson, 4 races because he missed both last year. Obviously, he won the All-Star race. New equipment for him. Top 5 and a top 10, though. That was all just the one with Ganassi.
All-Star race does not count for included into this.
Right,
it's not
yeah.
a non-points paying race.
Yep. So, interesting to note that Larson actually has the worst average finish, I believe, of all remaining playoff drivers here. So that's interesting. But anyway, as we turn our attention to some handicapping, we will start with DFS like we always do. And who better to lead the pricing this week than Kyle Larson? 14,500. Your highest priced driver on the board, Denny Hamlin, 13.5 behind him, despite not having a great average finish here. Kyle Busch, 13 grand. Chase Elliott, 12.5. Martin Truex, 11.5. Ryan Blaney, 11. Joey Logano, 10.5. Kevin Harvick, 10. Feels like a bit of value there, perhaps, on the 4 car, even though he's eliminated from the playoffs. But considering his history here, Byron, 9.8. Keselowski, 9.5. Bowman, 9.2. And Christopher Bell, 9 grand. I'll throw Kurt Busch in there, too, because he has excellent stats at Texas, 8.7. Zach, what are we looking at here as our top play or two for the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500? What a mouthful.
Yeah, typing it out is not fun either. I can tell you that.
No.
I like Larson this week. I think he's going to continue his dominance that he had in June. Lead a lot of laps, maybe win the race even. But a surprising name, maybe not. If you follow the show, Kevin Harvick at 10,000. Wow. Because I'm thinking of last year. Last year was an anomaly because that's more on NASCAR for not throwing a yellow because it's raining out. It's raining. How can you not throw a yellow?
I mean, they didn't throw a black flag and a bumper cover was being dragged around the track. So it's NASCAR, man.
Yeah.
They don't have balls anymore.
No comment. Yeah, so those are the two guys I like. And then your value play this week. Ross Chastain starts 25th. So why not take a flyer on him? I feel like his playoffs have kind of been like a roller coaster. He started out very well, kind of had a not so great round of 12, but I think he turns around this week at Texas.
All right, Ross Chastain, 7,700 priced over at FanDuel, or your NASCAR DFS pricing. And like you say, starting 25th, there are some spots to gain there, I would say for sure. What about the RCR boys? Austin Dillon, 8,500, and Reddick not far behind, 8,200. Reddick biases aside, they both have solid stats here. Texas, Dillon with the win last year. You interested in hopping on board and either of them as a mid-price guy? Both of them, perhaps, and if you're picking one, which would you roll with?
So either one is going to be a good pick, I feel like. But as you'll see in my DFS article, you keep giving away my picks for. I go with Tyler Reddick. I feel like he's got the momentum off of last week. The team came up so close last year with a second place finish. I feel like they can do it again. If not, go out and steal one.
All right, good stuff. Reddick's first win's coming. We're running out of time for it to happen this year, Zach. I still got my fingers crossed though. In terms of a big gun driver or two to avoid this week at the top of the pricings board, who did you want to give at us?
We'll start with Denny Hamlin.
Okay.
He's got to win here, yes, but a 20.5 place finish is not something you want to see. Let me go some other stats I had in here. In the 6 races since 20.3, not 5, excuse me, since the repave, he does have a win, but I mean, it's not so a 20.3 for a $13.5 thousand guy. It's a guy, not a guy you want. And then I gotta go Brad Keselowski. I mean, 22.5 in 6 races, and the fact that he's gonna be leaving Penske at the end of the year. He's probably not gonna get the best equipment. They're probably gonna give it to Blaney and Logano more than him. So I gotta leave Keselowski away.
All right, I understand both of those plays for sure. Looking at Hamlin, last 6 finishes, 34th, 30th, the win, 28th, 20th, and 9th. Now, Hamlin's been as hot as anyone in these playoffs. He's won the first race of each of the last 2 rounds, so I guess if he's holding the form there, he's going to go out and win this Sunday at Texas. But yeah, the average finish not great to say the least for him. Shall we jump into some betting for the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500?
Just call it Texas 500 just to save some time.
Used to be the AAA 500. So simple. Kyle Larson, your race favorite, plus 340 again, given that how hot he's been all year and the fact that he won the All-Star race here earlier in the summer. No big shock. Denny Hamlin, though. This is interesting, Zach. 6-1 is the second choice. Kyle Busch, 7-1. Chase Elliott, plus 750. MTJ, 9-1, along with Ryan Blaney. Those are your 6 drivers with odds in the single digits. I make sure I say that correctly. Is your race winner among them?
Yes.
Do you have a pick you would like to share with the people?
Kyle Larson. I mean, how can you not pick this guy? You got to roll the momentum. He won here. He had domination in June. Why not roll with the punches here and just go ahead, maybe take the loss on the value? But, I mean, the domination's there, so why not?
Hey, someone who picked Kyle Larson to win last week. I'm not going to sneeze at plus 340 return. I wasn't sneezing at a plus 450 at the Roval last week. No, for sure. So the fact that they were able to win that race and overcome the adversity they did, I think it says a lot about where the 5 team is at. They faced adversity in the entire round of 12, and here they are sitting pretty going to Texas. And again, the all-star race performance at this track speaks for itself. Meanwhile, as we jump back into some odds here, Joey Logano is 12-1. Then we start getting to some non-playoff drivers here. Your top 7 all in the playoffs. Kevin Harvick, 14-1. William Byron, 16-1. Brad Keselowski, there's your 8th and final playoff driver on the odds board, 18-1. Alex Bowman, 20-1. Christopher Bell, 22-1. Kurt Busch, 25-1. Austin Dillon, 28-1. Eric Almirola and Tyler Reddick are both 30-1. So a good mix here of, kind of mid-tiers to some really nice payouts on a third. Tyler Reddick had a nice run last week. I don't know. Is that where you're looking in this middle group?
I'm actually going to lean more towards Harvick. Maybe the bias, but, I mean, he's pissed off after last week. You could sense it in his interview. But I still feel like he's got something to prove, and he's going to go out there and give it his all this week to say, screw the fans, screw Chase Elliott, screw NASCAR.
All right. I can get behind that for sure. Just thinking, how well Larson ran here now. I don't know if it's worth it, knowing Hendrick still has 2 cars in the playoffs. But William Byron, 16-1. I could get behind that. 2014 was close to advancing on last week in a must-win situation. Byron's playoffs haven't gone quite as well as his regular season did. But
R.I.P. the future.
Yeah, I think there's still a little magic, though, left perhaps in the 24 car. He was 7th in the All-Star race, and Bowman was 6th, so nothing to sneeze at there. Keselowski finished 2nd in the All-Star race, and he has stats that are just garbage at Texas since the reconfiguration. So good thing we don't count the All-Star race. I could get behind the Kurt Busch there with Ganassi too, for sure. I still think those guys are going to be gunning to get Chip one last win. Speaking of Ganassi, as we turn to some long shots here, Ross Chastain leads them off at 50-1. We have Matt DiBenedetto at 60-1. Chris Buescher 70-1. Eric Jones mentioned his Texas stats. 80-1. Chase Briscoe 100-1. Daniel Suarez 100-1. Cole Custer 130-1. Along with Bubba Wallace, Ryan Newman, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 150-1. Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell 250-1. Corey LaJoie 350-1. Anthony Alfredo and Justin Haley 400-1.
And okay, I got this. Don't worry. I got this for you.
Okay.
Quid Howe, Cody Ware, Josh Billicky, Timmy Hill, BJ McLeod, Joey Gase, David Starr, Garrett Smithy, 1,000-1. Don't touch any of those guys. Just leave them there.
you know Timmy Hill's driving a second MBM Motorsports car? He's driving a Toyota, and David Starr is now driving a Ford for them. I didn't know MBM Motorsports could afford 2 cars when they can't even put a quality 1 on the track, but whatever. Dollar and a Dream.
Look at Rick Ware Racing. Dollar and a Dream, maybe. I'm between Ross Chastain and Matty D, honestly. Because we were talking about getting Chip one last win. And Ross, he's been gunning it for trying to get that first win for a little while now. Came close to Darlington. Now they come to another mile and a half. Well, Darlington's not a mile and a half, but it's close enough in comparison. Mm-hmm. And then Matty D, still looking for a ride, still trying to prove himself, still trying to get that first win, still trying to get Wood Brothers their 100th. Why not do it here? Why not do it now? And probably the state that likes Matty D the most.
Yeah, I think I got to go with Chastain. Just to disagree with you, but remember he won. He was the first driver he won the first round of the NASCAR All-Star Open and advanced on to the race, and he was running well in the race itself until a late setback. So ran well at Texas. Again, going to get Chip that win. I'll go with my boy here, Ross Chastain. Got to stick with the brand a little bit, I think. No. Kevin Harvick's plus 175 for a top 5, Zach. 4-1 on a top 3. And where did he go? Kurt Busch, plus 310 for a top 5. Do you like any of those numbers?
Yeah, give me the Harvicks. His numbers are too good here. He's got to, and like I said, he's going to try to prove himself more after what happened last week, because people have been calling him washed, and he's oh man, he can't drive anymore. He's too old. Like, did you not see what he just saw 1 year ago?
Yeah, no, I completely hear you. I think it's been a little more than Harvick, and probably not Harvick's fault really at all. Stewart-Haas hasn't been performing across the board. I want to read off some top 10 numbers to you, and I'm going to let you pick one of them. We're looking at plus money here, obviously, on these positions. Eric Almirola is even money. Ross Chastain plus 140. Matt DiBenedetto plus 150. Chris Buescher plus 180. Eric Jones is 2-1. Chase Briscoe 280. Daniel Suarez 280. If you had to bet one of those guys for a top 10 finish, would it be DiBenedetto? You sticking with the Dollar and a Dream, or would you go a different route there?
Let's take Chris Buescher. I feel like RFR needs them. I think they'll keep them that they had last week. And why not come back and get another top 10 like they had last week? And
yeah, sure. All right. Jumping over to some race matchups here. Zach, Kevin Harvick is plus 120 in a matchup to William Byron, and I don't know why. Another one that strikes me, Martin Truex Jr. is plus 110 against Chase Elliott, and it's not a great payout, but it's interesting nonetheless. The Richard Childress boys are going head-to-head, minus 110, both sides. Thoughts on any of those, or any others you might be looking at?
I'm avoiding that because that one could go either way, especially after last year.
There's a reason it's minus 110 on both sides.
Yeah. Take Truex over Elliott. Take Harvick over.
Yeah. Plus 120.
The fact Harvick has a plus 120 is mind-boggling, unless they're trying to go off of the All-Star race when Byron ran very well but fell off at the end. That just seems too low. Like, not too low. Too high of odds, or whatever you want to call it. He shouldn't be the favorite in that matchup.
Yeah, the stats would certainly say otherwise there for sure. 2 wins in the last 6 races, practically averaging a top 5 finish. Come on. The disrespect for the 4 team is real, Zach. As we jump over some groups here, the 4-man horse races, as we like to call them. Some of my favorites. I always make sure to have a group or 2 in the betting column over at flurrysports.org. Don't forget you can find that. and also Zach's DFS advice ahead of this weekend's. I guess we're calling it Texas 500 now, which is a lot easier off the tongue. What letter group would you?
Oh. Before we go on, you don't read about us. You read our articles because that back in that episode popped up in my Spotify and it's like son of a, like that's really what he named it.
Yes. Yeah. What letter group would you like to indulge in before we get to Group F? And you are not allowed to look at the group page if you haven't already this week.
Yeah, I totally wasn't just looking at it. I was gonna say Group A, but
Group A. Okay.
If I'm going off, yeah, we'll go Group D.
Group D. Okay. Well, there are your RCR boys in there for you. Austin Dillon plus 250, Tyler Reddick plus 260, Eric Jones plus 290, Daniel Suarez 3-1. And of course, Trackhouse is an RCR affiliate, so this is the Richard Childress group, I guess we'll call it. Or, Richard Petty Motorsports. It's the Richard group.
Well, I think RPM gets their stuff from RCR, so.
Do they?
So it could be theirs, I think.
Well, it's the Richard group.
Yeah, okay.
We're good.
The dicks.
So stupid.
We'll make it
man.
Worse. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna roll. If I have to pick one, I'm gonna roll with Tyler Reddick in this group because we're, I think, a little high on him for all the momentum last week. That maybe he steals one.
Andy's your boy?
Yeah, that too. That helps.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Zach. Are you ready for Group F?
No, because I saw it, and this is the worst Group F we have seen today. This is absolute garbage.
DraftKings, thank you. DraftKings Sportsbook has done it. Group F for the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500. We had to say the full name as we jump into this Group F. Oh my goodness.
This is
these odds. Do you know who your Group F favorite is, Zach? It is Cody freaking Ware, baby. 2-1 to win Group F, driving the number 51 Camaro for Rick Ware Racing. Then we have Josh Bilicki, plus 250, driving the number 52 Ford Mustang for Rick Ware Racing. By the way, Bilicki shifted over to the 15 for some reason last week. Not sure why, but he's back in the 52 this week. Quinn Houth, driving the 00 for Starcom Racing, plus 280. And rounding out Group F, Timmy Hill, 3-1 in the MBM Motorsports, number 13 Toyota Camry, as MBM Motorsports brings 2 cars to Texas this week. Wow. What a group. What do we do? I mean, shout out to DraftKings. This just made my day. This group is going in the column by default. I don't care.
So I picked Group F because of the meme. Press F to pay respects. This is the absolute memest fucking group you could have ever put together. Absolute press F to pay respect over this. That reason give me Josh Bilicki or Timmy Hill. I can't pick one of the two.
Because you've dogged him so much on the show all year.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. I feel like Cody Ware's the favorite for a reason.
I love and hate this at the same time. Yeah, Cody Ware is the favorite because of his dad owns Rick Ware. He's probably gonna get the best equipment that way.
Yep. Oh my goodness. I'm not spoiling my pick. Go read the betting column. Group F.
You're enjoying this too much. You're really...
I sure am, because I could cash a 2-1 ticket on Cody Ware this weekend.
Please,
you can bet on Cody Ware this week, and you don't have to Venmo Zach your $1. Like, you can actually go bet on Cody Ware.
I forgot about that. Oh God, that's great. Oh,
Thank you, DraftKings.
And thank you. So this should be the opener now. Forget what I said earlier.
Zach, one more bet for you. After I mean, I don't know how we come off of that. Like, we got to get out of here pretty soon. I can't take it anymore. I might have to go handicap that group for 2 hours tonight. Team
God, yeah.
team of the race winner. You know what? Hold on just a second.
And before I get comments,
you-
this is not an Eagle shirt. It's a Zach Ertz shirt because it's the last time. Zach Ertz also has a touchdown today if you don't know that, so let's go.
Okay, Zach, if you're looking to bet on Group F this weekend, let me help you out. Average finish at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going at the last 6 races here since the repave, the reconfiguration. We have got Josh Bilicki, your pick, your off the head pick. Average finish of 30th. That leads the group. Quinn Houff, 33.33. They both have run 3 races here, by the way.
He doesn't run a pit. Sorry.
They both have run 3 races here, by the way. Timmy Hill, 4 races, 35.25. And I don't think Cody Ware has ever run a points-paying Cup race here. But if we jump to did he run in the All-Star Open? Cody Ware. No, he didn't. Oh, yes, he did. He finished 11th in the Open. And that was ahead of Josh Bilicki, who finished 13th. Quinn Houff, who finished 15th, and Timmy Hill, who was driving the 66 that day, but he finished 17th.
Okay, so Cody Ware was front here, but we're talking about. But don't some respect on Timmy Hill. He's an iRacing winner here.
Oh, I can't wait to do this right up. All right, team winner. Let's finish this thing up and get out of here. Hendrick Motorsports, no surprise. They're your favorite, plus 150. Kyle Larson, it makes sense, right? Joe Gibbs Racing, plus 190. They got the defending champion, Kyle Busch, running for them.
And
Denny Hamlin getting some respect amongst the betting odds.
And Denny Hamlin, he's won every opening race so far this playoffs.
He has. That is a NASCAR betting trend for you if I've ever seen one. Team Penske, plus 425. Stuart Haas, 9-1. That's kind of the Kevin Harvick show. I think we can both agree. Richard Childress, 15-1. Chip Ganassi, 20-1. Roush Fenway, 55. Wood Brothers Racing, 66. Richard Petty Racing, 80. Trackhouse, 100. JTG Doherty, 110. 23XI, 130. Starcom and Pettyware are 1,000. Motorsports Business Management is 600-1. Does that mean David Starr or Timmy Hill took money to win the race? How are they both 1,000-1 and Motorsports Business Management is 600-1? I don't know. MBM has clearly taken money, or the odds makers don't know what they're doing there. I'm not sure. Zach, do you have a team there that you like?
Maybe hedge your bets a little bit with Joe Gibbs. I feel like that with the 3 playoff drivers they have left, that they are going to have contenders. And I mean, if you look back, Truex used to own the mile and a halves, almost won here and got past late on this configuration, so it'd actually be 8 races since they reconfigured it. My fault. Yeah. And then you have Hamlin, who won on this configuration. Kyle is the defending winner of this race. Why not take a shot if you're looking to hedge your bet on JGR?
Yeah, absolutely. JGR and SHR have combined to win each of the last 5 runnings of this specific race at Texas. Hendrick Motorsports has won the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 500 5 times, but all 5 of those wins came courtesy of Jimmy Johnson, and so therefore no other HMS driver has won. And of course, Johnson hasn't won. The last time was 2015. He won 4 straight years this race from 2012 to 15. So Hendrick hasn't won it in a while. So just some trends, some team trends there for you. Oh, Group F. Anything else? I think that concludes our handicap.
I think it's time for the stolen shirt ending.
All right.
You know what it means. Brothers should know what it means. He stole it from us.
Kraken.
Crackhead.
Hey, the Vegas Golden Knights beat them, by the way, in their opener, just so everyone knows. And the Braves are going to the NLCS.
Yeah, okay, so subscribe to us on Apple Yes, they do. Subscribe to Apple Podcasts, follow on Spotify, Google Podcasts, do whatever you do, have to do iHeartRadio. We're on Spreaker, we're on wherever you get your podcast from, I think. Depends on where he puts them. Follow Follow us on Twitter at Byron and Reddick Racing, at GT McAdoo, at Hang Time Henry. Yeah, I got it right. Got it. We got it. FlurrySports.org. We have our section. You can read our articles that we put up there. My
about NASCAR.
Yeah. He does NFL stuff. So, I should probably start writing more NFL stuff. But we have
I
our
do
own
a lot of stuff.
Yes. Yes. I should probably do more stuff. But shut up. Anyways, back to the finish here. You keep interrupting me. Our stuff's up there. I have the track overview. He has the lineups and other stuff like that up. That should do it. I am Zach McAdoo. He's Henry John. Good night.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We will see you next week with another episode of Burnt Rubber Racing. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the start of the round of 8 this weekend.